Well, I don't even know where to begin. Well, I don't know where to begin. So I don't know. Let's talk about it. Midlife crisis. Didn't think it would apply to me. Didn't think it would happen this early in my life. But I do feel that I've been going through it now for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years. Really been trying different things, but unfortunately, just with my personality type, I get stuck with paralysis by analysis. And I'm so busy trying to make sure that I take the right next step that I end up making no steps, right? I mean, that's the definition of the thing. I have this overwhelming feeling that there's only a certain amount of time left in my life. I mean, by definition, you know, I should only be halfway through my life, and it took a whole long time to get even to where I'm at. So if that's the definition, then I should feel pretty good about the amount of time that I have left, because in the past, you know, entirety of my life, I've tried a lot of different things. A few different careers, lived in a few different states, many different hobbies, and, you know, all of them have had a certain degree of success. And when I, you know, went to change things, it wasn't because, you know, I'm so miserable or so bored or so tired of anything, so much as maybe I'm a little bit bored or a little bit tired, right? Or a little underpaid as far as the career goes. And so I said, okay, this is good, but what's better? And so that's been the steps. But something happened over the last few years, and I guess that this is kind of where whatever the psychological effects of a midlife crisis come in, it tells me that, oh, well, you know, all the previous times when you made all these decisions and choices, you know, you had all this time ahead of you. You'll be okay. If you fail, you can start again, and you can try something else, so you can return to the prior thing. And all these sorts of things are going through my mind, and I felt good about it, you know. And so it's like, okay, I can take a stab at things. But now all of a sudden I feel that, oh, well, you know, you got to be really careful, Mark, because if you make a wrong step now, there's no time left to recover. Which is bullshit, right? I'm not even technically at my mid-40s yet. Very close, not there yet. So, hell, I mean, if you looked at it, there's plenty of videos that I watch here, even on YouTube, where guys are in their early 50s and they're making a career change, you know, change of housing, change of country, and they're doing it. I'm sure there's plenty of you that are even older than that, and why? Because, like, even if you're in your early 60s, right? Like, I mean, so the hell what? If you maintain your health and you keep your brain active, it's very common for us to get into our 70s and 80s. Some of us are even luckier than that with mobility. I'm very fortunate that these longer lives run in my family, and boy, I hope to take advantage of it. You know, I really, really do. So anyway, with that being said, if I was even in my 60s now, I could still have 10 good, solid years of high energy and mobility at a minimum to do something new. A new hobby, a new interest, you know, still travel in the world, whatever. So it's like, shit, you know, that's 10 years. And granted, that's not as long as, you know, say 20, 30, or 40 years, obviously, right? But it's not nothing. 10 good summers. If you position yourself right in the world, it's also 10 good winters, right? So that's the whole snowbird thing. So now all of a sudden, instead of having a factor of 10, you got a factor of 20. 10 good summers here, 10 good winters there. I mean, damn, you know, like, we have, you know, Matilda and I, we have spent our entire marriage with just physical discipline. And there has to be some kind of return for that. it's not that we have the desire to die with $1 million in the bank. I mean, I want to die with $0 in the bank. That's when I know I got it. Maybe a little bit of debt too. But we have to be getting to that point now in our life where it's like, okay, it's all right to spend a little bit, because, you know, you can't save until you have such an overwhelming amount of money that there will never really be a situation where you're going to run out. Like, that's, you know, overshooting the moon. So, like, if it was going to be a boat, right, then it's like, okay, get a boat when you're 50. Sure, what the hell? Because it doesn't have to be the biggest boat, and we also don't have to have $5 million in our 401k, right? Like, you know, we could have $3 million in our 401k, you know, the accumulation of interest while taking that much of a withdrawal out and getting a decent boat, not a big boat, decent boat, right? You know, so obviously all I'm talking about here is that, you know, be reasonable with the choices. And that's what you know, something that I'm sure many of you know how to do just right off the cuff. But I don't think that it's something that I know how to do. I think that in many cases I have done the middle road of things and they've worked out, but that was almost, you know, a coincidence. It wasn't necessarily by plan. Like, I always felt like, oh, I have to do the best of something, you know, at least that's the mindset going in, and I got to make sure that I cover all the angles and make sure that there's no way of, you know, stepping backwards on this thing. Like, I don't want to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I want to make sure I'm taking 2 steps forward all the time. And I've done okay with that. Of course, you know, objectively, many people have done far, far better. But anyway, back to my original premise here is that, you know, I'm really noticing is that I have a few really good ideas of things that I would like to do and try. And I've just been stuck. I'm stuck over the past few years. I'm like, okay, doors 1, 2, 3. Let me just sit and really think which is the best door. I know what's behind all the doors. I know the pros and cons of all the doors. I've ruminated over this stuff. I've been up at night all night trying to do, you know, I do the math. I try to take some kind of personal psychological analysis of all the, I know they're glass doors. I can see right through them. You know, so it's like, well, shit, pick one. How do I pick one? So there's been another door, a 4th door, a door that I've stepped through in the past, briefly. And I'm like, okay, you know, I shut the door. That's just not something I can do. And primarily it was just not something I could afford to do. Always feeling like, well, maybe at some point I'll get back to it. It's, you know, a transition from I'll do it someday to, yeah, be real, you're not going to do it. And that's it. So yesterday I was just doing the math of the whole thing and saying, no, you know what? One life to live, man. What the hell? Do it. Make a phone call. Crack open that door. See if it's everything that you remember it being, or if there's just a bunch of rose-colored glasses there. But if it's everything that you remember, and if it makes you as happy as you have been, kick the door open. So that's what we're going to try to do. So what's the big idea? What are we going to try? Well, why don't we just go ahead and make a little turn right here. What's that say? Cessna? So yeah, I think it's been 25 years. I didn't do the math based on my logbook, but we're talking 30 years from when I started this little idea. 25 years, I would say, since I stopped playing around with this idea. God, that's a long time. So let's see what happens. Dude, there you go. Well, I don't know what this is going to turn into, but
I'll hold it for you.
you know, maybe it would be something.
All right.
Here we go.
Nice guy.
Yeah, that looks pretty neat. October 22nd, 1995.